How are we, YouTube? George here. Whew, I'm just trying to get my breath back. Pick this up. This is an Arbor Press. Very, 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 very old Arbor Press. BTC is the brand. Don't know much about that. Have to do a bit of research. And there's a tag down here that says it's part of the Ministry of Supply. Unusual in terms of most Arbor Presses, that most Arbor Presses the ram is either square or round with a rack and pinion set up on the back. This is like a way off of a machine. It even has its own gib that you can adjust here, and there's a hole in the bottom of this that we'll be able to make tooling to go into. Now unfortunately it sees solid, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to very gently heat up just the cast, and we're going to pour some kerosene down into it, and we'll put some oil in here and give it a good douse with WD-40 and all the fasteners and stuff like that, and leave it sitting for a considerable amount of time, and reapply as and when needed the liquid gold. Gently warm it up. Don't go mad. Pump some oil into the oiler here on the spindle. Bit of oil as well, I suppose, won't do any harm. Now the thing that's interesting about this is that from the research I've done, it has BTC stamped into the side of it. British Tool and Casting, or British Tool Company. And there's a tag on the other side that says property of the Ministry of Supply. So that puts this thing somewhere in the region of late 1930s to 1950s. So this would have been, you know, paid for by the government and all that other good stuff. Yeah, so you see the oil pouring out down the bottom now. That's good. So a couple of days of soaking like that, we'll warm it up. The next time now we won't use kerosene, we'll use ATF. Just the kerosene breaks up any of the loose stuff. And then the keros, or the ATF, is it'll lubricate and clean and hopefully pop it loose. So happy days. It even has an adjustable gib on the vice. I don't know if I said that in the last clip. So there you go. We'll come back in a couple of days and see how we get on. Okay, it's a few days later from the first bit of video you've seen there. Maybe a week, I can't remember. So it was all rather anticlimactic. So I soaked it, I think 3 times, heated it and soaked it 3 times with kerosene, or not kerosene, kerosene the first time, and ATF maybe 3 times. Just come out in the morning before I went to work, pour a dose of ATF onto it and leave it. And I came home one evening and it was like this. The ram had just come down on its own. So it's all nice and free now. So I've just cleaned it up, just cleaned the dirt off it, and we'll go through a few things. I've went through all the fasteners just to make sure I could crack them all open. The one I was most concerned about was this grub screw. There's a grub screw in here. So we heated it up and doused it with ATF a few times as well. And that came out too. And we got the gib screws open. Now we did notice upon closer inspection, once we cleaned it, a few marks on the ram here. So we're going to stone those when it's not bad, just there. So we're going to stone that with a Arkansas stone and clean it up. And we'll get rid of the rust staining. Still a few bits of rust staining here and there. But man, I tell you, this is some machine. I know it's only a press, but the way this thing is made and the time period it was made, they made stuff right. Like, if you could buy an arbor press of this magnitude today, I would imagine it would be eye-wateringly expensive, given the amount of cast steel that's in it. It's solid. The sheer weight that's in it is astronomical. Now, so we're just gonna, make up some tooling for it. There's a hole in the bottom of this ram here, so we're gonna make up some tooling for it. And I seen a great idea on a This Old Tonne video on a press he done. Now, he said it wasn't his idea, but he when he made the tooling for his one, he got an old 1/2-inch drive extension bar, and he machined it down that it fitted in, so that you could just put sockets on it for pressing bearings and stuff. I thought that was a great idea. So we're going to do that as well, and we'll probably make up some tooling for, you can do more than press bearings and seals and whatnot with these things. You can bend steel and whatnot with them as well. So, like, this thing exerts a fair amount of pressure. So, and also there's 2 nice pin holes here in the plate that, we can make fixtures for, bending sheet steel 90 degrees and stuff like that. So, it's going to be a fairly versatile piece of kit. I don't know where I'm going to put it yet, but wherever I'm going to put it is going to have to be a seriously stout set up to hold the weight of it, and we'll put a hole in the bench under it, because you can also broach with this, like cut your own keyways and stuff. So that'll be pretty interesting. I haven't done any of that in about, I don't know how many decades now. Like, this thing is mad. There's one thing that is for certain: if they dropped a nuclear bomb in the morning, there would be cockroaches, Keith Richards, and this press left. That'd be it, and but we can't leave it like this. Show this, so I'll add in this bit. Now, I poured the kerosene or the ATF out, but this is what came out of the rack and pinion. It's pure rust and crap. ATF is brilliant for the kerosene is good for loosening. It gets rid of all the loose stuff almost, over a few hours. But the ATF is good at cleaning it up and getting the real heavy crap out there. So, pretty decent amount of rust there. But that's not to say when it comes apart, we take the ram and the pinion and all the rest out, that, there's still going to be stuff in there to be cleaned out. But overall, we're quite pleased with how this turned out. And as I said, we're not leaving it like this. We will tidy it up a bit and make it a little bit more presentable looking. So stay tuned for that. Okay, we'll get you in the next one.